Aloha, welcome to A Course in Miracles, lesson 41 of the Workbook for Students. Yesterday, we started this idea, we went from holiness in lesson 39 to what we are, a son of God. I am blessed as a son of God. And today in lesson 41, God goes with me wherever I go. And if you have trouble with the word God, just use a different word. Spirit, love goes with me. It's okay. I know a lot of people don't like to use that word God. I know one book I read, they used the big buzz or the divine buzz or something like that. All these words, as we talked about yesterday, are symbols. So don't get caught up in the symbol. The symbol is just the pointer. And all the religions of the world, the ones who take the symbols literally are always arguing about it. Like it's Yahweh, or no, it's not Yahweh, it's Krishna. No, it's not Krishna, it's Jesus. No, it's not Jesus, it's Allah. But really, all these words are just symbols. And so we're going to go beyond the symbols. This course is taking us beyond the symbols. So if the symbol is offensive to you in some way, you can use it whatever you're used to using. If you want to use the term Allah, that's okay too. Or Jehovah. So, you can say Yahweh goes with me wherever I go, or Allah, or whatever you want to put, whatever is your term for the divine creator. Use that word there. Because it's not going to make any difference. They're really all the same. If there's one God with many names, it doesn't matter what we call it. So God, I'm going to use the term God because that's the one that's used in the course. So God goes with me wherever I go. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment of all the separated ones experience. And of course, we are the separated ones. Not really, we just think we're the separated ones. We feel like the separated ones. In our minds, we're the separated ones. But the truth is, we're not separate. And that's what this lesson right here is saying, that whether or not we feel it or not, God goes with us everywhere we go. That is the truth. That's the reality. And this idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment all the separated ones experience. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. These are all things that we've experienced because all of us are kind of born into the world feeling that separation from one another. One of the first things a baby senses is that the separation. When we're all born, we feel we don't have any sense that there's something separate from us. But little by little, we began to feel a separateness from the world that we live in, from our parents, from our siblings, from the objects in the room even. And that causes anxiety and worry, and a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem. Yet, its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. So we've come up with all these cures for our feeling of isolation and loneliness and separation, but they don't work because the problem isn't real. We're not really separate. And that's what it's saying here. And that's what it's saying. We've not really even questioned the reality. Is it true that I'm separate from God? That I'm separate from my brothers and sisters? And it's not true, but we believe it's true. So we try all these different things to overcome that sense of deprivation, loss, and isolation. But if something isn't real, how can you really cure it? Because there's nothing there to cure. And that's kind of what the Course is saying here. The idea for today has the power to end all of this foolishness forever. And foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. So it doesn't ignore that we think it's real. And we see and experience tragic consequences of believing that the separation is real. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them. That's one of my favorite verses in the whole workbook. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real. And suffered out of its allegiance to them. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness, because its source goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer, because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone, because the source of all life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind, because God goes with you everywhere you go. We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you, when the truth is hidden deep within under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all that you see? Today we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and go through it to the light beyond. There will be only one long practice period today. In the morning, as soon as you get up, if possible, sit quietly for some 3 to 5 minutes with your eyes closed. At the beginning of the practice period, repeat today's idea very slowly. God goes with me wherever I go. Then make no effort to think of anything. Try instead to get a sense of turning inward, past all the idle thoughts of this world. Try to enter very deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of any thoughts that might divert your attention. From time to time, you may repeat the idea if you find it helpful, but most of all, try to sink down and inward, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts of the world. You're trying to reach past all these things. You're trying to leave appearances and approach reality. It is quite possible to reach God. In fact, it's very easy because it's the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it is the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. This exercise can bring very startling results, even the first time it is attempted, and sooner or later, it's always successful. We will go into more detail about this kind of practice as we go along, but it will never fail completely, and instant success is possible. Throughout the day, use today's idea often, repeating it very slowly, preferably with your eyes closed. Think of what you're saying. Think of what the words mean. God goes with me everywhere I go. Concentrate on the holiness that they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship that is yours, on the complete protection that surrounds you. You can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God goes with you everywhere you go. So, wherever you're going today, just remember to think that thought and tell yourself that God is going with me wherever I go. So bless you, bless your practice today, and I will see you tomorrow.